OPSEU support is making possible projects that build human capacity and empower working people to take greater control of their communities, their lives. The labor movement in Canada has based much of its success on our belief that what we desire for ourselves, we wish for all. That doesn't stop at our national borders. Through organizations like Coburg's Horizons of Friendship, we're engaging in international solidarity, not charity, with communities that are experiencing some of the harshest effects of globalization.
I think Horizons of Friendship is very invested in creating social change on the ground in the toughest and most impoverished parts of one of the most impoverished countries in the Western Hemisphere. One of the things that very much impressed me about Horizons of Friendship is their commitment to not just, to not at all building monuments, but to actually building capacity, and that included supporting the effort for legislative change. And one of the big impacts for me was the success that Horizons, and especially its partners in Nicaragua, had in getting federal legislation to protect women from violence. A huge effort, spanned quite a long period of time, and a very successful impact.
We are here with Maria Elena Cuadra Women Movement to distribute leaflets about the law 775, violence against women, and also the law contains an article about violence against in the workplace.
One of the highlights of the trip for me was the morning we spent in the free trade zone at the maquila factory, and we handed out copies of the law to workers going in for their morning shift. And personally, that allowed me to feel like I was actually contributing to the effort. Equally exciting was the reception we got. And I've handed out a lot of leaflets at plant gates, and oftentimes people refuse to take one or they throw it in the garbage. Not one was found on the ground after we completed our effort. People asked for extra copies to take home to their families and friends.
Also, you will see around here the entrance of the factory. You will see the street vendors. The street vendors can sell you anything from toilet paper to tortillas to beans. And this is basically the shopping mall for the worker throughout the month. They buy everything on the street, and it's not that hygienic, but it's all that they have access here.
The most powerful single memory that I have is being in the maquila factory and seeing the very, very difficult working conditions in the factory, and seeing young people working in the factory with who talked of hope and a future and making their country a better place. And it left me marveling at the strength that people have when they really, by North American standards, really have very little or maybe nothing in terms of personal resources or personal wealth, and yet have hope and a vision of the future and a vision of a better life for their children.
Some time ago, I think it was an American was telling me how good that you're helping these people get out of poverty. And I said to him, because I think this is a God honest truth, I said, we're not helping them to come out of poverty, we're helping them to move from misery to poverty. Correct? We agree in this world economy, with $45 a week, let's say nobody can get out of poverty.
When we asked the workers from the factory if they could change one thing, what would that be other than higher wages? And they said right away, a universal minimum wage that would allow them to put food on the table for their families. I'm hoping that we in OPSEU can carry that message through the Canadian Labour Congress and the World Labour Congress and start that dialogue.